Guys, I lied to you. I lied. I promised I would take a short break for the holidays and then come back with a Tokyo Revengers episode, and I lied. I am so sorry. But in my defense, lots of things happened, and now we desperately need to talk about what's happening in Jujutsu Kaisen because, oh my god. But before we go any further, welcome back to AnimangaKatharsis. This time, we'll be talking about the insane mess that's the Jujutsu Kaisen world. And obviously, if you're not up to date with the manga, spoiler alert, big spoiler alert. Okay, let's get into it now. These past 2 chapters have entirely changed everything in Jujutsu Kaisen. We finally discovered the reason why Sukuna was so obsessed with Fushiguro after he made him eat one of his fingers, and ended up becoming his new vessel. And that's literally the word he uses, vessel, because apparently, unlike Itadori, who according to him was just a cage, Sukuna seems to think he'll be able to control Fushiguro's body. Because let's remember that Itadori hardly ever lost control over his own body to Sukuna. This seems to imply that Fushiguro is somehow weaker than Itadori, which I get it, because obviously Yuji is Kinjaku's son, literally. But Fushiguro is not like completely weak either, because Sukuna says that he had to regain forces first and then wait until the moment Fushiguro's soul broke, which happened when he discovered his sister, Tsumiki, had not really awakened. And then he ripped off Itadori's finger, and gave it to him. He did not, he fed the finger to him. I don't know, that scene was so disturbing. But what happens now? Because obviously we knew that Itadori was ready to sacrifice himself to save Gojo, and I'm completely sure Fushiguro would do the same, but we still don't know if he can regain consciousness inside of his own body. And I'm also confused because Itadori ate a bunch of fingers and Fushiguro only ate one. And it wasn't even a proper Sukuna finger. It was one of Itadori's fingers, which I don't know if that's relevant or not. Probably not. But Sukuna's fingers are said to be deadly, which again, Itadori can eat because he's Kinjaku's son, but Fushiguro should have died. And what happens with Itadori now? He's literally on the verge of death. And this time Sukuna's powers can save him now. Obviously, he can't die yet, because he's the main character and all that. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe Sukuna will return to Itadori's body at some point? Does Sukuna have 2 vessels now, or what? It seems very unlikely, but you never know. We know nothing so far. I'm so confused. I'm so intrigued. But this is getting really interesting. Listen, personally, I don't think Fushiguro will die. I don't think he'll die, at least until Gojo is out of the box. And I'm only saying this based on an old interview from Gege Akutami, the mangaka himself, where he said he wanted Gojo to be the one to tell him the truth about his dad, because Gojo was the one who killed his dad. So unless Gege has changed his mind, I think Fushiguro will be safe for now. Probably. Hopefully. And speaking of Gojo, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's been some debate online whether the angel opened the box, Gojo's box, before Sukuna attacked Hana in the last page. What do you think? For me, I don't know. I think for me, it's too soon to free Gojo. Like, I know in real time he's been trapped for like, what, 3 years? A little bit over 3 years, I don't know. But in the story, I think it might be too soon. Like, I know Gege originally wanted to end JJK this year, but I don't think he will. I mean, he's been taking breaks every 2 weeks or something, and I don't think the manga will end this year, but you never know. And personally, I'd love to see Gojo return and save everyone, but I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up, you know? Either way, if he does end up coming back, or if something interesting ends up happening, I'm sure people will spoil it to me before I even get to read the chapter. That's what's been happening in Jujutsu Kaisen lately. What do you guys think? Will Fushiguro return? Will his sister come back? Is Gojo finally coming out? Will Itadori actually die? Tell me what you think in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. And I promise this time I will actually make a Tokyo Revengers episode. I promise. But until then, goodbye.